Welcome back inside the pit. We're pregame. It's the Lobo Classic, the final. Yep, the Lobos in Northern Colorado playing for a tournament title. We have Lobo head coach Richard Pitino. And Coach Pitino, it would be great to get 3 consecutive wins and get a tournament title. How would that be for your guys?
Well, I think more than anything, it's the game that's in front of us. I thought we played very, very hard last night. We competed our butts off. Now we've got to be mentally and physically really tough because everybody's tired. Everybody that's playing today, coaches, players, everybody's fatigued. The fans, and this is where you got to dig in, and we'll take our break after this and get them rested, obviously, for St. Mary's. So, but that's the fun of it. Like I've talked about before, they'd rather play the games than practice. So just dig in and find a way to get the win.
So limited time between game 2 and game 3. You and your staff, how do you divide and conquer? You have now 2 good tapes on Northern Colorado against common opponents that you can look at. You want to go over your tape from yesterday as well. How do you handle it all?
Well, it's what we did was watch their game live, and then I went home last night and I really broke down our game. Then I woke up this morning, broke it down again just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And then we all got in here early and turned the page to Northern Colorado. So, the biggest thing in these type of events is you don't want to neglect the game that you just played. You've got to make sure you get better. And the best part of the games is there's so many learning experiences. It's you can't get too focused on turning the page. Our assistants do a great job of scouting. So we cleaned it all up. We'll do that today. Instead of shooting around, we'll watch a lot of film and then get them off their legs and get ready to go for 5:30 tonight.
That is exactly what I wanted to ask regarding looking at the tape. It's so much fun to talk to you after the game and hear your impressions immediately following the contest. Now you've had a chance to digest it twice. What did you see on tape that you maybe didn't think immediately after the contest yesterday?
Well, sometimes if you win, you feel as if you played better than you really did. And sometimes when you lose, you feel like you played worse. I try very hard to take the emotion out of everything when coaching. Does that mean that I'm unemotional? No, of course not. But as I'm analyzing our team and trying to prepare them to get better as well as win, I've got to take a step back and breathe. That's why I'm not a big post-game speech guy. Not big on all that. There's certainly value in it, but there's way more teaching points when you get together the next day, team-wise, and go over the film. I thought, after watching the game last night, I thought we were really good. After watching the film, I thought we competed our butts off. We played really hard. We played tough. North Dakota State's a good program. That's a program that's won a lot of games, and they were going to have some pride. And they were up for us. They were physical. They were tough, and we responded the right way.
Were the offensive rebounds that North Dakota State got in the first half a little fluky? Did you see the effort from your guys, and how did you guys change that in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of just loose balls not going our way a little bit, honestly. I don't think effort's been an issue with this team. I think we play really hard. There's a couple that we missed out on. We should have grabbed, and like Javante and Mash got a little sideways. One thought they were getting it, the other didn't, and also just drops right in there. And a little bit of it was just the fundamentals of guards leaking out, trying to get out on the break, because we're pretty good on the break. So did a much, much better job in the second half, obviously holding them to one offensive rebound.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino is alongside. It's the final day of the Lobo Classic. Northern Colorado and New Mexico playing for a tournament championship. Okay, let's turn the page ourselves. What about Northern Colorado? Coach Steve Smiley's Bears, they've won 2 games in this tournament. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, they've responded really well. They lost a tough one versus Colorado Christian and San Jose at home, so I'm sure that was difficult for them. And I think they've come to Albuquerque with, they sometimes getting away from home is also good when you're not playing well. And obviously when you play Houston and Baylor in bye games, those are really, really challenging. So I think Northern Colorado is probably our toughest test in the Lobo Classic. And again, it's going to be so much about us, just like it's going to be so much about them. Can't play with fatigue. We only got 14 home games left. Enjoy every second of it.
What about Dalen Kuntz? He's their best player. First team All-Big Sky a season ago. What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, he's probably player of the year in their league preseason. 17 points per game. Just got good size, got good skill. Pretty crafty off the bounce, going left. So he's a tough matchup. Their guards are really good. It's a little bit different than last night where the bigs were the focal point for North Dakota State, where Northern Colorado, the focal point's really their 1s, 2s, and 3s.
What does Coach Smiley like to do defensively? Would he junk it up a little bit if he thought it was important?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to make a decision, obviously, defensively, man or zone. I think we could see some zone because I think our bigs have been pretty good, and they're going to have to make a decision on what to do. So we got to be ready for everything. So they do have some zone in their package. They played zone versus in the first game and versus North Dakota State, and it was effective. They trapped the post with a guard. That was also effective. So we got to kind of be ready for everything.
Your guard play, Jalen House, it hasn't been a great tournament for him, but yesterday, you saw him find ways to impact the game, even though he wasn't shooting it great. What about his play?
Yeah, I don't think he's had a good tournament, and I just spoke to him about it. He's in his own head right now. He's a little bit offensively sensitive. When the ball doesn't go in, it's affecting him. And that's why I tell them if it goes in, if it doesn't go in, it's irrelevant. You move on to the next play. He's a senior now. Like, he shouldn't be acting like a freshman out there. So we talked about it. I think he understands. I think he's in his head a little bit. We want to help him get out of that. But, it's like Brad Stevens said, the definition of toughness is just moving on to the next play. And he's got to do that. He gets distracted, whether it's refs, whether it's the opponent. And it's just too much on his plate to be able to perform. And that's where we're trying to take all that pressure off of him. Because when he's good, he's terrific.
Final question. Your freshman point guard, Donovan Dent, maybe his first adversity. It was a tough game for him yesterday. What did you say to him?
I thought he played well. He just turned the ball over, but some of that was not on him. So, he made some good finishes at the basket. He played well defensively. So, he's going to turn the ball over. I'm not encouraging in it, but, as long as you're playing hard and being smart, I can live with it. So I really like what I've seen from him so far, and it's great. I mean, it's great when you can get those guards out and sub and not have a drop-off. I mean, our probably best lineup was when we played those three guards. It was with Donovan, House, and KJ, and we built a big lead.
What a luxury.
Yeah, normally it's easier when you have more players and better players. And the most important thing, you see it through all of sports. Why was Bill Belichick such a great coach? Well, Tom Brady helped him. Why did the Warriors make a big dip a couple years ago? They had injuries. So, you got to recruit your butts off. You got to develop the players that you have. And then you got to help them along the way. Put them in a position to succeed.
Good luck going for 6-0 and a Lobo Classic title.
Thank you.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino, our guest. We're back pregame. New Mexico and Northern Colorado coming up on the UNM Sports Radio Network.
We're back inside the pit. Post-game, the Lobos 98, Northern Colorado 74 is your final score as New Mexico wins the Lobo Classic. There have been a dozen of these now, these Lobo Classics, these holiday events in University Arena. The Lobos have won 10 of them as this renewal of a holiday tradition from back in the 80s and 90s renewed here in 2022. And New Mexico comes out on top, winning all three games in the tournament. And the finale goes to the Lobos over Northern Colorado, 98-74. We're courtside post-game. The post-game show brought to you by the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Winning entertainment, including simulcast racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. That's the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. We're joined by Lobo head coach Richard Pitino. First off, Coach Pitino, congratulatory handshake from our Deputy Athletic Director, Dave Williams. Way to go, Coach. Congratulations. Terrific 3 days. You guys just held up a trophy.
Yeah, we ran into a team, I told our guys, we ran into a team that was worse defensively than we were, and that was Northern Colorado. Neither one of us are where we need to be defensively, but the second half, we made some adjustments because they were trying to shoot a bunch of threes. So we just started switching all ball screens. Thought it was a little bit better. So the defense was for sure better. And Morris Udeze was phenomenal. We just kept trying to go to him. And he was really terrific down low. 13 for 13 from the foul line.
That's
great
huge.
for a big kid.
Yeah, especially because he'd been struggling prior to that, right?
Yeah, and that's what seniors need to do. They've been there before. Like, you move on and you stick to your routine. So great to get 3 wins. I think we're getting better and better. We're a fun team to watch. But now we've got a really tough task to go on the road to St. Mary's.
Yeah. Coach, was that the game plan, and just from jump, to get the ball inside to Udeze?
Yeah, I mean, we thought it was the polar opposite of North Dakota State, where their perimeter was better than their bigs. And we were kind of helping too much on their bigs and giving up threes, so we adjusted in the second half. But from an offensive standpoint, we thought for sure, let's get the ball inside.
Yeah.
Udeze, unbelievable work at the line. Also, 14 rebounds today. It had been Alec who'd really been the big who'd been crashing the glass. Mo did it all tonight. What was the difference there?
Yeah, I think kind of like you said, he did a little bit of everything. He was just terrific. He was battling his butt off. We rebounded the ball well. Obviously, first half defense wasn't great, but the second half defense was much, much better. Everybody was tired.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could tell everybody was tired. 3 games in 3 days is a lot. But they competed their butts off till the end. I got to give them credit.
Coach, was there anything you would change differently? I mean, of course, you got the W, and that's all that really matters. But without looking at video.
No, I mean, I obviously our first half defense has to be better.
Yeah.
We got to be a little bit better with the scouting report of understanding what they're trying to do and taking that away. And I think that's the hard part of when you're playing right away the next day, a different type team with a different game plan, because North Dakota State's not a great shooting team. They are a great shooting team, and we didn't adjust well in the first half, but did better in the second half.
In the second half. Lost my train of thought. The game plan of getting the ball inside and, of course, making those adjustments on the defensive end. You guys were making twos. They were making threes. But then I thought the adjustment was what really took place in the second half.
Yeah,
right?
we just started switching all ball screens and just saying, all right, make them make twos. Don't help off for threes. And that certainly was beneficial.
So now that you guys have been dominant in the paint, do you expect to see teams like St. Mary's, hey, let's throw zone at them. Let's let them beat us from the three. Because I thought maybe UNC would do that tonight.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're really good offensively, so I think there is a fear of however they're going to guard us. St. Mary's, I haven't watched a lot of film on them. I know they're traditionally a very big team, so my guess would be they'll try to go one-on-one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing I try to tell these guys is get some rest, and then we got to watch a lot of film on St. Mary's tomorrow. It's going to be hard to practice. That wouldn't be very smart. And then just get one really good day of prep and go see if we can steal one on the road.
You were saying that House seemed out of rhythm the first 2 games of this tournament. He was terrific today. What changed?
Way better. I jumped him. I was not happy with him. And I don't think it was any malicious intent on his part, but he had to get refocused. You know, he was just doing his own thing a little bit defensively last game, and then he was getting offensively very sensitive. When the ball wasn't going in, it was affecting him. He was way more like the Jalen House that we all know and love. So he responded well.
He did indeed. And, after yesterday, a couple of turnovers, you said he played solidly, but the freshman Dent, again, bounced back today, and he was good one more time in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a good passer. He finds guys on rolls that are terrific. And it's great to get him these minutes because he's so talented. So the more times we can find some minutes for him, the better it's going to be.
I got to ask you one more. I feel like we talk about everybody who rises up, and Mash is just the rock. Mash is there. He's so reliable. He's so consistent. He's so dependable.
That's exactly what he is. You're getting the same Mash every day. You're getting the same Mash in practice. You're getting the same Mash in study hall. You're getting the same. He's the most detail-oriented, routine-oriented guy, and that's why there's not a lot of highs and lows with him. You know, he just stays the course, and he trusts his work, and that builds confidence for him. So we're happy to have him. He's a terrific player.
Coach, congratulations. Great win and tournament trophy. Way to go.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Lobo head coach Richard Pitino, post-game. We're courtside in the pit. The Lobos knock off Northern Colorado 98-74. We will hear from a Lobo player coming up here shortly in our Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino post-game show. Okay. We take time out. Lobos 98, Northern Colorado 74. Final. More after this on the UNM Sports Radio Network. We're back post-game courtside in the pit. Your post-game show presented by Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Winning entertainment including simulcast racing, live music, dining, the best games, and more. That's the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. My broadcast partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. New Mexico knocks off Northern Colorado 98-74. We have the tournament MVP. The Lobo Classic Tournament MVP with a career best tonight in both points and rebounds, 33 and 14. Morris Udeze, the graduate transfer post for UNM. Congrats, Mo. What a day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big time day. You know, I didn't expect to have this kind of day, but, it's all blessings of the Lord, man.
That was an awesome straight line drive for House. Northern Colorado ball. That's So, Mo, tell us what the game plan was coming in. You guys obviously thought that you could pound it inside on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Coach gave us a great message at the beginning of the game, kind of pound the ball inside a little bit, and it's going to make the game easier at the end of the day for the guard. So that's kind of how basketball is, man. You get a couple inside, then they kind of loosen up, and you get easy 3 balls.
How did you feel being the third game in 3 days? I mean, it looks like you could probably play another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I woke up this morning. I'm like, man, I want to keep playing. That's how I woke up. So, I woke up, had a good breakfast, and I was just like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing, man. I just thank God, my teammates, and my coaches for putting me in this position.
So, Mo, we know why you came here. It feels like the season's off to such a great start. How is this group starting to come together? How are you guys gelling?
We're gelling a lot, man. We have a lot of like similarities off the court. So when you have a lot of similarities off the court, that it just helps on the basketball court, man. And playing with great guards such as Donovan, House, and Mashburn, wings, Javante, KJ, and playing alongside Josiah, it makes the game so much easier for me. I don't want to leave out Bisek and Sebastian because they push me every day at practice, but just all of us together, man, is just a blessing. We go hard every day at practice, go at each other, and, man, it's working out for us, and it's a blessing.
So you talk about the chemistry, and whether it's in the locker room or when you guys are out just socially. Yeah. Who is let's just say, who's the clown? Yeah. Right? Who's the guy that's always cracking jokes?
Yeah, I feel like Safi. Safi's he's a big goofy. Safi, House. Really, everybody chips in and jokes. So we just like to have a good time, man.
That's always fun. I mean, I played with a guy, Kelvin Scarborough, who always kept us loose. Yeah. And you always need one of those guys, right?
Yeah, you need it, man. You need it. Yeah, Safi's that guy. Safi House is the guy for sure.
You're a newcomer to this team.
Yes, sir.
But you're an old soul, and you've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, sir.
The adapting to a new group of guys and sort of moving into a leadership role because of the experience that you have, that you bring to the table. How has that worked, and how have the guys embraced you?
Yeah, man, I just feel like we all have like a sense of respect for each other at the end of the day. So when you have respect for each other, it's easy to listen to one another. Whenever House gets on me, call the screen. You know what I'm saying? Say black, call the screen. I just be quiet, I listen, because I have respect for House. When I tell him, I'm open on this, he has respect for me. So it's just a respect thing. Me and Mash, same thing. So me and Mash kind of knew each other for a while now, so it's just a respect thing.
I still find that story fascinating. Mash being as much younger than you as he is.
Yeah.
I mean, what were your relative ages? Just guesstimate that when you guys first got together on court.
Yes.
You said it was a pretty cool scenario, actually.
Yeah, I was probably 17. He was probably like 14, 15. I was 17. I think he was 15. But yeah, it was just like I was always a grade ahead. I was thinking 2-3 grades ahead of him. But like, man, it was crazy. We was at a camp, All-American camp in Philly. It was in Philadelphia, and then great experience. We're on the same team, actually. I remember I was on the elbow. I gave him a bounce pass. It was a baseline. He missed the layup. I went to him. I grabbed him. I was like, bro, you can't be doing that, man. I need my assist. And since that day, we've just been cool. So, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a big bro, little bro thing. But I have that respect for him. He's growing up. He's growing into his own, and he's becoming a great player. So.
Did you guys have a conversation before you decided to make the final decision to come to him?
Yeah. I checked before. He was probably the first person I checked in with. I was like, Mash, how was it out there, man? Be honest. You know how that goes. So he told me it's nice. You know what I'm saying? You coming to play basketball. You come to win games, and let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Like they need a couple bigs, and I came here. So.
So you think you guys can contend for a conference championship?
100%.
Okay.
We have all the tools, man. We just gotta listen to coach and his game plan, and everything's gonna work out fine.
You probably had designs on having a great year, maybe even a career year.
Yes, sir.
Did you imagine in your 6th game as a Lobo, though, that you were going to go for 33 and 14 career bests in both of those categories? Because you knew that this was a guard-heavy team, and there were a lot of guys who can score.
Yes, I did. I didn't know I was going to go for 33 and 14 today. I didn't know that. But I did know we had great guards, and when you have great guards like that, the scouting reports, guard them all the time. So it leaves someone open. It leaves an opening for me and Josiah just to find our spot. So them being so guard-heavy, and they might trap the ball. If I just roll to the right spot and get open, and you know what I'm saying?
So talk about the free throws. Dude, you were 13 of 13 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I feel like I've been a great free throw shooter, but
is it mental?
I wouldn't say that. I feel like I'm going on my same routine, but today was just flowing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going. In my head, I'm like, every time I go to a free throw, I'm not going to miss. So when I miss, I'd be surprised.
There you go.
So I'd be like hard on myself, but today I just took my time, bending my knees, followed through, And then I went
Because you'll be there quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're going to put up numbers like this, you got to make those.
You got to make free throws.
Right?
You have to. It's a must. It's a
I
must.
see you
man.
putting in the time.
Yeah, I have to, man.
Well, congratulations.
My guy.
Just an awesome performance,
Thank
Mo.
you so much, sir.
Tournament MVP, career night.
Yes,
Lobos win the Lobo Classic, and now it's an exciting time. You get to go and play.
St. Mary's on the road.
Yes, let's go, man.
Big time opportunity,
Cali,
right?
Yes, sir, baby.
Cali.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, Udeze.
Thanks, Mo.
Love, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morris Udeze, our guest, post-game. Lobos winners, 98-74 over Northern Colorado. Great stuff. Okay, it is time to select our defensive player of the game. That defensive player of the game is presented by Theta Point. Make cybersecurity a team sport. Add Theta Point to your team to increase your defensive posture. Here it is, our defensive player of the game, Jalen House. Shaw on the left wing. His pass stolen by House. House going the other way. House into Johnson. He scores and he's fouled. Jalen House with a chance for an and one. Jalen House with 4 steals, 2 blocks, and a tournament best for him, 22 points. House, unbelievable on the defensive end again, turning defense to offense. Hunter, there, he is our Theta Point defensive player of the game. He's unbelievable.
Theta Point, Mr. Theta Point. We're gonna get. How many times has he gotten this award?
4 now. Four with you and me.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, call him Mr. Theta Point.
Love
Gotta
it.
keep saying that name. I love that name.
So, you said anticipation, you said energy, but there's more than that. There's instincts.
Yes.
Why is he so good at that?
It's his want to. He wants to get that ball. I mean, you could just see his desire and his passion for it, and it's just fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, no. He's amazing to watch. And just the balance that this team brings to the table now, it's a whole new world. They can't guard our guards and forget about down low. And they cannot focus down low too much because then the guards go off. I'm not sure where you focus on our team if you're trying to, develop a defensive scouting report.
Well, one of the things Coach talked about was he's not really worried about facing a zone, which I understand because every time a zone has been thrown his way, at least in this tournament, no problem. I mean, they've been able to score, and it hasn't been an issue. So we'll see as they hit the road here to St. Mary's.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more segment. Hey, download the Lobos Sports app today. It's presented by Nusenda. It's free. Find it in the Apple Store and the Google Store. Download it now and go Lobos. We wrap it up on the other side. UNM routs Northern Colorado to win the Lobo Classic 98-74 on the UNM Sports Radio Network. House off an Alec screen. Feeds the cutting Alec. Alec lays it in and out. Rebound Udeze. Udeze lays it in. Udeze with 21. There he is, Morris Udeze, our player of the game and the tournament MVP for the Lobo Classic. He concludes this contest with a career best 33 points, a career best in rebounds as well with 14 for those offensive. Morris Udeze, our post-game guest, and the Lobo Classic tournament MVP. He was a star from start to finish over the last 3 days. The Lobos beat Northern Colorado 98-74 to win this one tonight, and Hunter Udeze was unstoppable.
Yeah, he was. I mean, it's one thing to have a game like this, but to know, listen, and your opponent knows that they're going to pound the ball inside, and you still have a game like this.
True.
But I tell you, UNC did not double and triple team him, and so that's why he had the kind of night he had too. So.
You made a point in the first half that actually it was obvious that's what their game plan was, but I thought they had to make an adjustment, and they didn't, and it cost them. Now, you said that they were going to let Mo get his. Well, Mo got his, and they got beat. Why didn't they change?
Good question. Some coaches kind of stay the course. I mean, they don't like to adjust too much during the game. So, I mean, that was their game plan, was to go ahead and just play him straight up, man to man, and to me, that's one of the hardest positions to guard is the post straight up man to man.
It's time for our adjustment of the game, brought to you by The Joint, the official chiropractor of UNM Athletics, and that adjustment of the game was in the second half defensively for New Mexico.
Yeah, guarding that 3-line. I mean, just getting out and trying to be disruptive defensively on the 3-ball.
They did it by switching those ball screens. Coach Pitino mentioned that they realized that those threes were just too wide open, and so they were kind of blitzing the ball screens and made it an easy look. So instead, switching that kept somebody attached to the shooters. Right?
It's interesting. They do that against a good three-point shooting team, and you have to. I mean, you cannot not switch against a good outside shooting team.
Okay, the Lobos will travel next week. We leave on a Tuesday. New Mexico will play at St. Mary's. That's on Wednesday coming up next week, the 30th of November. It's an 8 p.m. Mountain Time tip. Our airtime 7:30 with the Lobo basketball pregame show. One of the pillars of the West Coast Conference led by Gonzaga. Right behind them sit the St. Mary's Gales. It's going to be a real challenge for New Mexico.
I'm excited. I've never been there. Coach Bennett's been there for years, legend. I've known a lot of people that played for him, played against him. So I'm excited to see just be in that arena.
Tucked away in the East Bay there in Northern California in a
Moraga.
town called Moraga, not far at all from Oakland. That's where we're flying into, and they have a tremendous program with a lot of history and a beautiful gym that is old school. I know you're going to love that. Can't wait for that, Hunter.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, thanks to Michael Carlisle on site, Steph Griffin in our studios. I'm Robert Portnoy. That's the legend Hunter Green. That'll do it for us for today. The Lobos improved to 6-0 and dropped the Bears to 3-5. Remember, the last time the Lobos were 6-0 was that 2012-2013 season when they started 12-0 before winning the Mountain West Tourney title and going to the tournament in the last year under Alford. That wouldn't be a bad result this year with a win in the tournament on the back end. How about that?
Why not 13-0?
Why not? Okay. So long for now. Your final score for the final time. The Lobos knock off Northern Colorado to win the tournament, the Lobo Classic. I'd be remiss if I didn't give you the full tournament team. Damari King of Jack State, Dalen Kuntz of Northern Colorado, Dalton Connect from Northern Colorado, Jamal Mashburn Jr. from the Lobos, and the tournament MVP, Morris Udeze, with his career-high double-double, 33 and 14. Final score for the final time. The Lobos beat UNC to win the Lobo Classic, 98-74. So long, everybody. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.
You have been listening to New Mexico Lobos Basketball. This exclusive presentation of Lobo Basketball is brought to you by U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Larry H. Miller Auto Dealerships, driven by you. Albuquerque Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority. Cool it, can it, chuck it. And by the Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino, your home for winning entertainment. This broadcast has been an exclusive presentation of the UNM Sports Radio Network. Executive producer Felicia Nieto. For information about this broadcast, contact Danny Belinsky with UNM Sports Properties. The UNM Sports Radio Network is a division of Play Fly